Welcome back to Dirtbag America, where we spite our corporate overlords by building shit for free. I had a bunch of potatoes in my cupboards that were growing these weird little nubbins.
Mystery nubbins.
So I chopped them into tiny little pieces, and now we're gonna build a box so I can cover them with dirt. You know, like a serial killer. After hitting one of the old property scrap piles, I got a bunch of these fence boards and started processing them down to be usable again. Usable again? Jake, do you know how to talk?
He's kinda dumb, but at least he's handy.
Side note, look how rusty these fucking nails are, man.
Wow.
For all y'all wondering why it took me so long to finish the pallets on it, it's because I was using these rusty pallet nails the whole time. Well, that and the fact that my ADD leads to a strange type of anxiety when I get overwhelmed with a project, thus taking me into the deep dark catacombs of mental paralysis and physical lockdown.
My mind is an enigma.
Y'all might be wondering why I'm building a potato box instead of a potato tower. Well, the answer is simple. The internet told me I should do a box, so I'm doing a box. Who doesn't love putting their fingers in a moist box, am I right? So with the boxes built, it was time to move on to the potato part.
But wait, Jake, what about moldy cardboard?
Oh, don't you worry, dirt babies. I would never forget that. Cardboard down, I put a couple inches of compost on top and started adding potatoes. 1 potato, 2 potato, red potato, blue potato. My poetry book will be coming out later this year. Well, hopefully these things sprout, and if you guys have any suggestions on how to do it better, leave a comment. Okay, bye!
Today we won't need our easel or our canvas. We'll just need some colorful prompts for our AI generative software. What about a serene lake at midnight, the full moon? Maybe there's a bullfrog bobbing there on a log, and maybe there's a little fisherman's boat off there in the distance, there under the moonlight. Okay, let's generate it. Oh, would you look at that? That is something very special. You know, you can print off your AI-generated paintings and frame them in your home. Or similarly, you can shove a popsicle stick all the way up your rectum. Okay, let's get another prompt going. What about a painting of a foggy forest at dawn with a little cottage under a giant oak tree? With generative AI, anything you can imagine, you can see. And the companies are working on what's called AGI, which will be able to do anything you can imagine, even manipulate every human being on Earth. Yes, on the eve of a dystopia we can scarcely understand or plan for, coupled with a looming autocracy, it makes one long for the woods. Okay, now let's see what we got. Would you look at that? How about that? It almost conjures some kind of feeling, but not quite. Well, that's it for today on The Joy of AI Painting.
What happens when you combine soccer and dancing? It's called Disco Foot. Here's everything you need to know. Disco Foot is both a soccer match and a dance performance. It combines the basic rules of soccer, but has one rather important difference. Dancing is required at all times. Continuous dance improvisation follows the soccer ball, but also gives merit to what is referred to as the battle, which plays a vital role in winning the game. The sport was created on April 13th, 2016, and conceptualized for the Ballet de Lorraine, a French contemporary dance company by Peter Jacobson and Thomas Cayley, two dancers and choreographers who have collaborated with one another since the 90s. A 2018 TV special called Disco Foot, written and directed by Jacobson and Cayley, highlights the performance match for all to enjoy. Each match features one referee and 3 artistic judges. The judges assess the teams on their artistic merit, scoring them twice, first at halftime and then again at the end of the match. These scores are combined with any goals scored to determine the winning team. Remarkably, a team can win by excelling in dance, even if they haven't scored any goals. A standout feature to Disco Foot is its inclusivity. All genders are welcomed on the field, and self-expression is wholeheartedly encouraged. As the Ballet de Lorraine puts it, this match doesn't have time for the usual hyper-masculinity attributed to football. We're just too busy dancing. Would you play Disco Foot? Let us know in the comments.
It's time for Trash to Treasure. That's where we show you how to turn the stuff that you can find at garage sales and flea markets into wonderful furniture and accessories for your home. Today we're in Sticks and Stones, a Minneapolis home furniture and accessories store, and one of the owners, Rob Whitleff, has some great ideas on how to turn old doors into an armoire and how to jazz up an old vintage lamp base using a new shade. Hey, Rob.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you again.
Today we're having fun with wonderful lamp bases.
We are. What we're going to do is we're going to create some new shade treatments for some traditional lamp bases or bases you already have.
Okay, starting over here.
What we've got over here is a really popular lamp from the 40s, very traditional shade, something you'd probably find in your grandparents' house.
Yep, that's probably true.
Absolutely.
Nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong whatsoever. What we're going to do is take that shade off.
Okay.
And then what we've gone to is we've gone to just a simple shade store. You can find the Zennity's discount store also. And what we're going to do on this one is we're going to take a simple shade and tape off some space.
Oh, okay, so this is tape.
Yep.
Okay.
What we did was we marked off on the top here a distance. We've gone about 1.5 inches on each one. Marked that off around the entire top. And then on the bottom we've added a little bit more to get some depth and some width into the stripe.
Okay.
So by taking this space off and then doing another one here, what we do is we come up with a fair amount of negative space. And in that negative space, we're going to paint a color. So you could do whatever color you want to choose, something that would probably complement the lamp.
Some kind of matte paint.
Absolutely.
Huh?
So then we're just going to pop that on that lamp.
Okay.
And you now have a great looking, modern, vintage lamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great eclectic look.
All day, every day, therapist, mother, maid, nymph, then a virgin, nurse, then a servant, just an appendage, lift to attendant, so that he never lifts a finger.
Mi corazón. Te lo dije bien clarito.
Permanece a la escucha. Permanece a la escucha.
12 de la noche en La Habana, Cuba.
11 de la noche en San Salvador, El Salvador.
11 de la noche en Managua, Nicaragua.
Me gustan los aviones, me gustas tú. Me gusta viajar, me gustas tú. Me gusta la mañana, me gustas tú. Me gusta el viento, me gustas tú. Me gusta soñar, me gustas tú. Me gusta la mar, me gustas tú. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Je ne sais pas. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Je ne sais plus. ¿Qué voy a hacer? Je suis perdu. ¿Qué horas son, mi corazón? Me gusta la moto, me gustas tú. Me gusta correr, me gustas tú. Me gusta la lluvia, me gustas tú. Me gusta volver, me gustas tú. Me gusta marihuana, me gustas tú. Me gusta.
Everything's depending on me, and if I keep trying, I'll be on top of the world, where I can see everything before me, reaching up to.
Have you ever heard of the Clowns International Egg Registry? No, I did not make that up, and yes, it is exactly what it sounds like. Clowns International is an organization for, I don't know if you can guess it, but clowns. And if you become a member, if you pay the membership fee, and then you send in a picture of your clowny self, you can get your likeness painted on an egg. 2 eggs, actually. 1 egg gets sent back to you for you to keep, and the other egg gets to be part of the collection, stored in the collection in a church in East London. This has apparently been going on since like 1947. I think they're painted on like ceramic eggs now so that they don't break, but they used to be painted on like real actual egg eggs. And some of the most famous clowns in the world have had their faces painted on these eggs. Apparently it's like an unofficial way for you to like trademark your clown face. Like if you get your clown face painted on an egg, there's an unspoken rule amongst clowns that is officially your clown face and no one else can take it. They go by egg law in Clowns International, okay? I'm just saying, I think I would look really cute on an egg. My face is already pretty egg-shaped, I'm not gonna lie. I can see it. I don't know, maybe I'll make an update and with my clown egg update, unboxing my clown egg. Honestly,
Here's how to do the messy room challenge. Before you start, you get comfortable, you grab a drink, and you set the mood. Put on your favorite music. And not the kind that make you cry, girl. Put on the kind that make you happy and energetic. Okay, so this is a challenge. You take a before and don't forget to use the hashtag messy room challenge. You take a before and after picture, then you're gonna go to the trash, you're gonna head for the clothes, the dishes, and just follow this list. This is the anti-planner. And it even helps you to make things easy on yourself and avoid the pile up, you know, like from moving something from one spot to another and not really dealing with it. Y'all, this anti-planner is a game changer for my productivity, for my mental health, and just for my overall feeling of, feeling happy. Because I have less stress now because I'm really getting shit done. And you can get shit done too. Click the orange card. Here's how to do the messy room challenge.
Out with the new and in with the old. The Thrifty Griff is an exchange program which sees students donate used household items that other students can collect for free.
Recognizing that within the university we have lots of students moving in and out over the years, and we get lots of items that are then given back at the end of the term from students who may not be able to fit it going home or might be an item that they no longer need.
Shopping works on a point system. All students start with 20 and can earn more by donating.
With 20 points, basically, they can get all their essential needs here.
There have been a couple of things that I've forgotten to bring when I was moving in. And so just coming here and looking at all these things and going shopping. It's been really fun.
Hello, here's what to look for if you think a house might be empty and you need a house. Firstly, a lot of houses have these kind of like cupboards out the front, and if you come over a look here, this one's got the switchboard out the front, so you can see that they're all off, so it's probably no power being drawn there. Also, what you can do is look at realestate.com, domain.com, see if it's listed, when it was last sold, and all that kind of stuff. Have a look for the gas. Oh shit. This one's gas meter is in the off position, so the handle is perpendicular to the pipe. And then what else you can do? Check that the water's off. The water's off in this case. It's pretty clear that this house is empty. But the most important step, and please make sure you do this, because I don't know if you saw the news, but someone didn't do this for the last one. Check inside the house and make sure it's empty. As you can see, for this house, it is well and truly empty. There is no one in here. No one's been here since 2015. Another good tell is if the lawn hasn't been mowed in quite a while. As you can see, this lawn's not looking so great. This house is probably empty. If there's an empty house near you and you've checked all that kind of stuff, and you want someone to live in it instead of living on the street, send it in. There's a link in my link tree. We can connect someone with a house who needs it. And also, if you do need a house, please email me at my email address. I don't really check social media DMs. So yeah, that's also my link tree if you want to reach out. And if the government got off its ass and built 1 million public housing units like I'm arguing for, then no one would have to do any of this. Unfortunately, they're not doing that. They probably won't do that ever. So that's why we have to do stuff like this. If you think society should be organised for working class people, not people land banking empty properties like this, or developers or banks or anything, you should vote one Victorian Socialists. Also, please make sure you give us your first preference. Second preferences aren't really going to do anything for minor parties like us.
Authorised by C. Oakley Victorian Socialist Brunswick.
$1 each were knotted end to end. Then this colorful swag was draped over the birch bark branch. Total cost for the window, just $8. We pushed the original dresser back into place under the window. Because the dresser was in good shape, we added real birch hardware to the drawers to warm it up. An easy fix, just $50 for the hardware. I love this wall
Isn't this great?
It just gets better and better when it dries.
It looks like leather.
Yeah, and what I love about it, when I think about my kids and I think
Yeah.
about walls, I think
Yeah.
about fingerprints.
Fingerprints,
Don't need to worry
feet prints,
about that.
nothing. I mean, it's really a nice surface.
Feet prints. I'm
You
not going to
never
touch
know.
it. I don't know. This I love, though. Where did you find
This was
that?
a steal at a flea market for $24. And what's so cute about it, this is an old drafting table. That's why it tilts. And rather than sit at the desk, which we think our kids are going to do, and they have never sat at a
Never.
desk in their lives, they can display their art or read or color or do whatever they want. It's so cute.
Perfect. And the red adds
Yeah,
so much.
I like
love
that.
And this.
The barn shelves. This is real barnwood, folks. I
Of
mean,
course
when
it
you
should be
go
barnwood.
into the country and you see these barns being knocked down, go in and take the wood because it's wonderful. It has a great look, and it was very inexpensive, $15 for this huge shelf that we cut into pieces and used it. It's
I
great.
want to say they should ask first, don't you think?
Yeah, or else go in late at night. It's cheaper.
Because it is address, attending always on the response of the addressed, infinite speech has the form of listening. Infinite speech does not end in the obedient silence of the hearer, but continues by way of the attentive silence of the speaker. It is not a silence into which speech has died, but a silence from which speech is born. Infinite speakers do not give voice to another, but receive it from another. Infinite speakers do not therefore appeal to a world as audience, do not speak before a world, but present themselves as an audience by way of talking with others.
And so what was happening was as I was trying to select my fit models, a lot of people were coming in, and I was noticing that like, oh, your top half is a bridal size 8 and the bottom half is a bridal size 10. And so I realized that, say you like worked your ass off, you're a size 6, you're so pumped, you come in and like you're just like yappy mother-in-law is going to like fly in from across the country and come into the appointment, and by the end of your appointment all of a sudden you're realizing that you're a bridal size 10 and like you thought you were a bridal size 6, and there's all this pressure, and like we owe our brides an engagement with that emotional responsibility that we have around sizing, and also just like taking all of the stigma off of it, or like what people think they're saying. Like I saw someone who like a boutique was like, oh, you don't look like a size 24, and I was like, what do you think you just said to that model? Like, what is the relationship you think that you have? And so you're interacting with again shapes that are like, oh, this is a real person, and like here's the photo of the event they wore it to, and just kind of just engaging with something that's more than this like weird ambiguous size that doesn't mean anything. That's not based on a human, even though it's like based on like this one human, and that's just very confusing. And I think that we owe our brides more.
To take the age away from the cabinets, she painted the oak trim and pulls a sage green and then added white artwork to give it a crisp, clean look. This soothing sage green color continues onto the windowsill. And, once again, Ginger's artistic flair surfaced. A small hand-painted lamp was placed in the windowsill to warm up the room. The kitchen is lit with fluorescent bulbs, and although this is great while cooking, fluorescent lighting is much too harsh if this room is used as a gathering area. And to jazz up the countertop arch, Ginger painted a black and green checkerboard design and stenciled veggies randomly. You've done a few things to bring these two rooms together, but this is my favorite. I love this runner.
And the runner is what brought the two rooms together.
Yeah, it actually physically brought the two rooms together. And then the wallpaper, it goes all the way from the kitchen and around the dining room. That really pulls it in too.
Yes. And we used the same sage green paint in the dining room that we used in the kitchen on the pulls to bring it all together.
Great, fresh look and really pulled together.
To continue our skill building, today we're going to be reading Mend, Don't Spend. This zine and the rest of our library are available for free reprinting right over there. Just follow the arrows. If you want to support the work me and the artists do making these available, you can buy one down there. And if you can't afford that fee, please God, Get it for free right there. This is all meant to be an accessible way to add value to your community. Those are the skills that we're working on right now. Without further ado, mend, don't spend. This zine is folded instead of cut like most of our zines are. I'll show you how to do the folding at the end of the video, okay? Did you know 92 million tons of clothing is discarded each year? That's a lot of trash. Only 15% of unwanted serviceable clothing is recycled or purchased secondhand. The rest is incinerated or sent to the dump. Mending can take just a few minutes. Mend something while you watch TV. Let's get stitching. For a running stitch, you tie a knot in your thread, you poke it up through the bottom of the fabric, then back down through the top of the fabric, then up through the bottom of the fabric again, as is according to this diagram. Use this stitch to secure fabric patches, temporarily repair popped seams, or baste fabric into place. When cutting your thread, make sure to make it only as long as your arm. That's good advice. Looking good. It's best to use synthetic thread with synthetic fibers, polyester, nylon, etc., and natural thread with natural fibers, cotton, wool, silk, but even dental floss can be used. Avoid using embroidery thread. It's pretty, but not very strong. You'll have an easier time with good thread. Use your new skills to personalize your wardrobe. All the best stylists do. With a little work, you can alter your clothes to fit like a glove. For that, we'll need a stronger stitch, the back stitch. You tie your knot in the thread, you go up through the bottom of the fabric, around, forward, through the top of the fabric, and then up behind your first stitch, through the bottom of the fabric, then back through the first hole in the top. So you get sort of a loopy effect, yes? Please refer to the diagram. You can take in or let out almost anything with a little creativity. Whether you're trying to make something bigger or smaller, try to manipulate the fabric on the dashed lines to get the best results. Right there, just follow the diagrams. You've got your tops, your pants, your skirts. And now we get to check out the special feature of this zine, which is it unfolds into this adorable little poster about visible mending, which I will read now. So you've got sashiko mending on the left. Sashiko is a type of decorative embroidery that utilizes running stitches to repair or reinforce garments with a decorative pattern. Sashiko thread is pretty like embroidery thread, but much stronger. Boro means tattered or repaired in Japanese. Boro repairs are made by combining layers of patch fabric with a decorative running stitch. So it's like patches and decorative stitching. A grid is used to get even stitching. Washable gridded embroidery stabilizer, it's like a fabric with holes in it that can function as a guide, can be found at most craft stores. You can also make your own by using a ruler and a washable marker to draw directly on your fabric. The pattern is created by sewing all horizontal lines, skipping grid lines as needed, then repeating the process for your vertical lines. Play around with shapes and textures to create interesting designs. And this is a zine by Angel Montenegro. This zine is available for free reprinting right over there. Use your library card, print them out at your library. They generally have some amount of free page allowances, and then you also get your library supported in your community. Oh, I said I'd show you how to fold them. Okay, so basically, you're gonna have your initial sheet of paper, right? First thing you're gonna do, hot dog fold. Yeah, hot dog fold, great. Unfold it. I like to back fold it so that crease is a little more pronounced. Then you're gonna hamburger fold, yes? Hamburger fold it in half. Do the same thing, back fold it so that the crease is a little more pronounced. That's what I like to do. Then you're gonna fold in the flaps. Flap 1, flap 2. You don't have to cut it yet. I'm just using the zine we were using for the video. Flap 1, flap 2. Remember to back fold it. Same thing for the crease. Fold it back. Okay. Now, hamburger. This is when we're going to cut it. You cut it from the folded side, not the unfolded side. You cut it from the folded side to the middle, like so. Yes? And then you're going to pull it out again. Fold it in half. Actually, you want to fold it with the pages out. Fold it in half. And then accordion these two flaps together so you get your pages, right? You get this little cross formation. And now you're going to take the cover and the back cover and you're going to fold it around the outside. You get this. Now go print some zines or like do a chili cookout or bring your community together. Go!
The Cadet Chapel is an all-faith worship center for cadets and architectural marvel. This is the largest chapel in the building. It's called the Protestant Nave. These are stained glass ribbons in the tetrahedron ceiling. They have a synagogue for Jewish services, a Buddhist temple. This is a musalla mainly used for prayer in Islam. This is the Catholic chapel. Each space has its own entrance so that services can take place simultaneously. They even have an outdoor chapel called Falcon Circle for Wiccans, Druids, and other earth-centered worship groups.
Welcome back to Dirtbag America, where we spite our corporate overlords by building shit for free. Yay! Last time we found these mattress springs in the woods, and you guys were like, make a pea trellis! Okay, settle down, dirt babies, let's do it. We started by framing in the springs with some wood, screws, and nails that I've just got lying around because I'm cool like that. It's definitely not because I have a crippling disorder where I can't say no to free scrap.
Like the dragons of old, I gather treasures from the kingdom and hoard them within my caverns.
He's a trash dragon with piles of trash. Anyway, so we got it all framed up, it was looking great, holding its weight. But Jake, what are we gonna plant into? There's no garden bed here, you frickin' idiot. This is a round top wagon that I'm fixing up for my Patreon subscribers. I got in trouble last week because I called it a G-word wagon, which I did not know was a slur, so I'm sorry. He's so ignorant. It's got this cool garden bed on it that we're gonna repurpose for the trellis. I've got huge wood out here. And I also have this log that I'm going to use to make feet for it. I bet you're wondering where the sound went. That's a great question, microphones. Thanks for turning off midway through filming. My cameraman's getting fired.
No, please, I have a family.
After flattening out the tops of the logs and getting them screwed in, I just filled this bitch back up with dirt. Then it was time to attach the trellis, which went really well despite my inner critic reminding me I was a failure and could never do anything right. There's a full video on YouTube if you want more details. Okay, bye.
How to practice anarchist calisthenics in Hawaii with lei making. Especially as a native Hawaiian, I think it's important to keep that muscle active, and lei is a great way to do that. So when I go out on runs, I try to look for different plants I can use for lei, because the laws on this are really weird. You are legally allowed to pick plants that are on public property, a little more fuzzy for like gated neighborhoods, but those plants don't go to use unless you take them, like this tea leaf I collected and froze to make a lei. It's a friend's birthday this Saturday. And as somebody who lives in the city, I do not have a yard. So me and every other local who's stuck in a high-rise is incredibly jealous of people who have lei gardens. But you don't need a lei garden to make a lei. Yes, you can obviously pick when you go on hikes, etc., but isn't it more fun to steal from rich people? And you're making use of something that would have gone to waste.
Oh, I'm so glad you're interested in our general store. Yes, we run a small general store. It's not very neat or well kept. But we have a lot of candies, and we also sell, like, snacky type food. It's just kind of hodgepodge of whatever we eat. Like, that's the spaghetti I buy anyway for us at Costco. I buy things at Costco. I resell them for a fair price. You can see we have fresh veggies here. We carry a lot of different types of ramen, potatoes, nuts, chips. And then I have one random box of spaghetti, toilet paper, paper towels, a charger, lighters, hand soap. I have these because I won a bunch of them at the arcade and I have extra ones. They do sell. Sometimes people buy them. Little mini soaps, tea lights, the lollipop stand. And then I've got more fruit snacks and Oreos, just random here. And then there's some random school supplies. We have some like little magnetic flashlights and scissors, goggles. We always say, if you think maybe we have it, we might have it. We have chargers right here. We have C-type and iPhone chargers. And then this is the free bin. Every customer gets to pick one thing from it a day. Every visitor. They don't have to bought anything. And then this cabinet right here was like a built-in spice cabinet for the previous people, but it's sort of like our medicine and toiletries cabinet. And yeah, we open this up. I don't leave it open because I don't want the kids like messing with it, but they can. Sometimes we have people who are like visiting in town and they need to come get a toothbrush. So I carry that kind of stuff. And then when people run out of like laundry sheets or dish tabs or need Band-Aids, like we just have this kind of random stuff. Nail clippers, that's another big one. And then we have drinks over here. It says the prices for everything. We don't always have everything that's on that list. Like right now we don't have big Gatorades, but when we do have them, looks like all we have right now is a lot of Gatorade, but.
Let's learn about alternative kitchen cabinets. I feel like that accent comes out whenever you see these kitchen cabinets. Not that it's inherently bad, and this is a very pretty kitchen, but what if, instead of cabinets, we organize kitchen supplies the way that you would for tools? I mean, technically, all of these things are kitchen tools. Or instead of having cabinets that shut open and close, we had storage that slid. I really love the way that these sliding cabinets are angled. You still have storage, but there's a lot more clearance to do work at the counter level. I actually have reason to believe that these are not cabinets, but actually a wall-mounted fridge. Underneath, I love this storage for spices right in front of a stainless steel prep area. And instead of shoving pots and pans into cabinets, I really like this idea of a rack. All of your cookware is visible and stable. I love the storage in this kitchen. Instead of having everything stowed away in a formal cabinet, you have things displayed nicely, but also easily accessible and visible, from glassware to mugs to your spices and grains. And for those who prefer to have their things hidden, this is a genius pantry idea. It's like a freestanding fridge, but for dry goods. Instead of having to shove your pasta, your spices, and your snacks into cabinets. I also really like the combination of concealed and open cabinet. If you're somebody who makes a ton of coffee or tea, it's probably annoying having to put your glassware and your tea in some cabinet or in some drawer repeatedly. Something like this keeps your tea accessories and equipment very accessible. Here's another example of keeping your dishware very accessible. Or if you're a tea lover, all of your tea could be displayed here and within easy reach of a hot kettle that you plug in on this counter. And for those who like to have things concealed but also visible, frosted glass and fluted glass are great alternatives to a typical shaker cabinet. If you're new here, my name is Jess, and I talk about the ways that we can juice up our kitchen as well as nourish our community and loved ones. Let me know in the comments the kinds of cabinets that you would like to see more of.
You cannot say comprised of on Wikipedia. This phrase is banned, and it's not banned by rule, it's banned by practice, because there's this user, Giraffe Data, who will basically go through and remove any use of comprised of and change it to an alternative that he feels is more descriptive of the specific use case. I think it's really interesting. This dude wrote a whole article about why he hates comprised of as a phrase, and the dude has almost 50,000 edits just changing that. I mean, it's something of a style choice, so it's not that impressive. He's not really helping fix content, but still interesting nonetheless.
Washing machines in kitchens. Would you do it? Putting washing machines in a kitchen is actually very common. Everywhere except America. It's very common to see a washing machine right next to the oven. Side note, it's also a lot more common to have electric cooking, and I love how the flat top here is basically a counter extension. But anyway, back to the washing machine. Due to space constraints, as well as plumbing, it's really common to see this setup. The number of times that I've been cooking something and then would have to go downstairs to do laundry and then forget that wet laundry is sitting in the washing machine while I go back upstairs to fix whatever meal I'm making. Like, I think this setup could be a lot easier for cognitive load and for accessibility. You're not running between rooms in order to get chores done. Everything can be managed quite conveniently. But for folks who prefer more separation between what they're washing and what they're cooking, this particular setup might be a little more appealing. In this configuration, you typically have a galley kitchen with some sort of partition, and then the laundry on the other side. In warm climates, the laundry side is often a semi-sheltered balcony, so that once your wash is done, you can hang your clothes and air dry them, saving on energy. If you're new here, my name is Jess, and I talk about the ways that we can juice up our kitchens, not just for the sake of aesthetics, but for the sake of making the kitchen a place where we can nourish ourselves better and easier, so that we can pour from a full cup. Let me know in the comments if you would want to put a washing machine in your kitchen.
It's day 2 of me painting Remy from Ratatouille, piloting Luigi Mangione and forcing him to make affordable healthcare. So follow for more.
Nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. Have you ever considered that maybe you're just a really shitty cook and a really shitty baker? Or maybe you just don't like the cuisine from your country and culture? Have you ever considered that maybe it's not
what's happening in your local community and you want an actual legitimate say in what's happening in your local community, I strongly recommend you start attending local government meetings. You can find when they are online, you can attend them, they're usually pretty poorly attended. This will involve a fair amount of tedium, this can even be boring, but it does help you actually understand how things work, what's going on, who's trying to push what agendas, etc. And if you want to take this advice,
To break your heart, I'll tell you that I love you, then I'll tear your world apart. Just